Right, it's already the middle of the week. Today happens to be a Wednesday, the 7th day into the month of August. That means we are 1 week down into the 8th month of the year in there, and that must be also really a source of excitement, also really as a source of inspiration as well, and it should be also really a source of worry if at all you have plans that you wanted to achieve at the beginning of the year towards the middle of the year, and now we are getting closer to the end of the year, because we are going to be seeing anytime from now us getting into the 9th month, also really there that we shall also be entering into 10th month. And once we clock the 10th month, I really want to show you that the year has already ended. And that is where also really we see many preparations for the festive year, and also really where we see many people also really planning now exactly on how they will be ending their year in there. But that is not why we are here. We are here to keep you informed of what is happening in and around your vicinity, and also really across borders in there. And I will be also delving into discussions across borders in DRC, where we are seeing some of the soldiers also from DRC entering Uganda now, as there we did see UPDF also entering in there to also make sure that they can bring everything to normal. And we are going to be letting you know that discussion later on, but I really feel I need to also talk to you about that, because if at all we do not talk about that, then definitely we are going to be lagging behind, and that may not also really be right. And that is one thing also really which I feel I need to let you know of as we start off our day this morning. It being a Wednesday, that means tomorrow we shall be getting in Thursday, and when Thursday comes, we are aware that the weekend is just around the corner, and that is where also really we hope you celebrate your weekend responsibly, and also really with your loved ones, with your friends and family members as well, because weekends are meant to also really make sure that you who has been busy within the week has time with also really the relatives in there, and that is where also really we need to talk to you about. And remember, of late we have been seeing the country having a lot of rampant strikes, others in relation to corruption, others also really against ECOP, with many also really now coming out to also really protest against what we call the appointments. These are the medical interns who are also really threatening to march to parliament, and that is one thing also we did see, where they have attempted march was also really blocked by police in there. Now police on Tuesday blocked a group of medical interns from marching also really to parliament as they protested their delayed also really deployment to different health facilities also really for their training in there. But really, what exactly could that be meaning? Because we need to also really understand sometimes that these people also really have the guts and must work together in terms of also really maybe supporting government, because we are always saying the medical practitioners numbers in this country is not enough, and that is really where I feel medical interns could actually help bridge in that gap, because sometimes this also really has rendered the already existing doctors overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities. But how do you also really support the category of the medical interns is actually what matters, and I feel supporting them also really in the different local governments is quite important, and also through deployment at the various medical facilities would actually help them gain the experience, because for them they need to also really go through a lot, that is in terms of getting hands-on skills, unlike other courses also where they may not be needing that, but I feel the medical interns actually needed this training very, very much quick in there. And that is one thing also where we did see, where the government recently said medical interns had randomly also been placed across 73 internship centers for a period of 1 year, starting from August 5th of 2024, that is to July 31st of 2025 in there. Now the medical interns from different universities also really in the country had intended to also present their petition to the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Mong, and her deputy, that is Right Honorable Thomas Taeba in there. But now they were blocked, and that is where, and this is the very first time actually we are seeing people are threatening to march to parliament, also present their petitions being blocked. And recently we did see the youth also really who were also really protesting against corruption, threatening to move to parliament, something which I must say the Uganda People's Defense Forces are together with other sister security agencies, we are able to foil quickly in there, and that is one thing also we did see. But really we are now seeing the medical interns. These are doctors. I love one also really post by one of those prominent leaders in the country who say the police has blocked you, police is beating you. Just take the mark the faces. By the time you become deployed, you will also really be identifying them, because these are people whose rights you are fighting for. But if at all they choose to really treat you like that, then wait for them. When the right time comes, you will be maybe in position to also really make sure you punish them from there. But that is something also really where I would also want to encourage the medical interns to work towards, because they are there to serve humanity. They are not there to serve anybody, maybe anybody's interest. They are there to serve humanity, irrespective of who the person is. The person may be that poor mother in the village. It could be maybe a security agency force, and that's only somebody maybe from the forces. But we are saying each and every person deserves equal treatment, and that is where at the end of the day we are going to be seeing that happening. And now security personnel at Parliament premises is talking to the interns to solely go back and find alternative approaches besides the peaceful protest in there. That is already where we did see and the security at Parliament blocking the young people in there from presenting their petition to the Speaker of Parliament in there. Another intern doctor, who is known as Ezekiel Senjowa, has also already said we are in Parliament and we come to talk to you, and that is also what we did. Also already see them presenting also in there where we did. They say they came in peacefully, but they have been denied access in there. Another Dr. John, the Secretary General of Uganda Medical Association, said yesterday that the Ministry of Health has opted also to deploy only 1,263 students as interns, leaving at least 1,207 intern doctors with no placements in there. And these are complaints that have been there, and in Arua City also the students of Mon University also already way back then also already had the same challenges in there. But how do we make sure that their grievances are actually addressed? Because many of them cite irregularities that we also already mad with also already that mad this exercise, and really that is something also which I feel at the end of the day the medical doctors deserve equity on, because you just imagine studying for all these 5 years and then in the last year where you're supposed to be doing your internship, it is not there. How does this maybe make one feel? Because at the end of the day, this is where we expect these people to also really make sure that they do what exactly is within their means, and that is one thing also which I feel at the end of the day is quite important, and must also really be given keen interest on, because if at all we not give keen interest on, then that is where it may be very much difficult for them. And however, Maogola South MP Goreth Namuga has also really wondered why the government will fail to facilitate intern doctors, yet Parliament is the new budget gave Parliament in the new budget gave Roko Company shillings 300 billion, the pharmaceutical also about shillings 500 billion, but then the money for medical interns is missing, and that is how this legislature felt very much bad in there. But how do we make sure that people do not have such issues and such feelings also in there is what really matters, and something I feel must also be given keen interest. Now, State Minister for Health and General Duties Aisha Kawoya asked for time to allow the Ministry of Health also to table before Parliament their strategic plan on how to solve the medical interns issues once for all in there. And that is where she is requesting for more time. And I feel we also need to give her that time, because if at all we don't give her that time, then it's going to be quite difficult for her to also continue advocating for the rights of the medical interns in there, because these people deserve placements, and I really feel they deserve to be placed yesterday in there. Now, still talking about the same Uganda Medical Association task government to find shillings 18 billion for the medical interns is another story. Is another story that we are seeing on the past morning. And I was talking to you about where Uganda Medical Association also tasked government to find the shillings 18 billion for the medical interns. Is another story that we are seeing on that was this morning. Still relatedly to that is the strike by the interns, and I feel these people's addresses and the concerns must also be addressed in there. Now, Uganda Medical Association has called for shillings 18.5 billion supplementary budget to deploy all the eligible medical degree holders for their internships in there, because really sometimes whoever has been to campus may know how difficult and how tiresome it can be also to look for internship placements in there, because many of times today many of the institutions only require people to pay for money to carry out internship within their facilities, and yet these people are coming to learn, and at the end of the day they are coming to provide services. And I really feel sometimes this is something government needed to be addressing on, because many of times students already go through a lot. That is in terms of getting placement, and that is where also already I feel at the end of the day, I need to sort of let you know about. Now, during a press conference at Mulago yesterday, Dr. Herbert Luswata, the Uganda Medical Association president, urged the Ministry of Health and also the Education Ministries to plan properly for medical students to prevent recurring strikes by senior house officers and medical interns in there. Now, he emphasized that despite available internship placements, the Ministry of Health has also cited a budget shortfall of shillings 18.5 billion Uganda shillings as the main barrier to deployment in there. And that is where I feel the challenge is. And I feel also we need to talk about, because if at all we don't talk about that, then definitely it's quite difficult and we are going to be facing a lot of challenges with that. And now the Uganda Medical Association called for immediate allocation for the supplementary funds by Parliament for the intern doctors in there. Now, Dr. Joel Muriembe, the Uganda Medical Association Secretary General, expressed his concern that we are shocked by deployment of only 1,263 interns, and the ministry later promised also to increase the number to about 1,500, but this still leaves about 1,207 undeployed. And where are the 1,207 said to be undeployed going? This is something also we need to understand, and we need to also put keen interest on, because we need to understand that all this deserve to be also deployed in there, because they are going to be learning. They deserve also to serve humanity. And today we also being told that medical doctors numbers are still very few, and really to support and also beef them up with the interns. I feel this is the best move. And when you move to most of the health facilities, most of the health center there are some tools, you realize most of them actually do not have the numbers. And why don't they then deploy these interns also in such facilities, and also where they are going to be monitored by senior medical doctor, maybe senior doctors in there? And that is where how at the end of the day they are going to be learning, and I feel they also deserve to learn through that. And that is one thing also at the end of the day I really feel we need to also talk about, because if at all we don't talk about it, then definitely it is also going to be costing us in there. And now belligerent activists, Ugandan students already arrested in anti-eco protests is another story that we are still going to be looking on, but we are going to be coming to that later on. I really feel we need to sort of move on, and we shall be jetting back into that story later on. But I really feel when we talk about issues pertaining what we call strikes, they are really getting, I don't know why they are getting very much in Uganda, and I feel we need to also really talk about that. But leaving that aside, activists want men to help women with household chores is another story that we are seeing this morning. I really feel we need to talk about it, because if you look at activists now, traditionally domestic work and caregiving has largely been rendered to women, but now activists are calling for men to also do the same. And issues like washing clothes, washing utensils, activists want men to share on the same. What do you think? What are your thoughts and what are your opinions on that? Really feel free to keep that comment coming through on our Facebook page. I will be in position to check through, and for those of you watching us by YouTube, I still feel free to drop that comment in there, and I will be also really later on going through that. And to change that status quo, the government and partners like Oxfam, Uganda Women's Network, and also really other opposing bodies are opposing that men and women should share unpaid care and domestic work, also really to eliminate gender disparities in society. What do you think about this? Because society did place men ahead of women, and that is not by mistake, and that is something also really now activists want change on. What do you think about it as the viewer? That is where you also going to be sharing your opinion with us, and your thoughts are highly also welcome on the same matter in there. Miss Angela Nakafero, the Commissioner for Gender and Women Affairs in the Ministry of Labor and Social Development, has said currently most women spend most of their time doing unpaid domestic work, such as also really what we call cooking, taking care of the sick, care for children and spouses, and washing clothes and other issues which they feel must also really change on. And that is one thing also really where we are seeing women activists also really calling for. But what do you think as the viewer? You can share your thoughts with us, share your opinions, and I will be in position still to make maybe to go through that. And she made the remarks while officiating at the opening of Women's Economic Empowerment and We Care Learning event attended by participants from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Uganda, and that was in Kampala on Monday this week in there. And that is where we did see that happening. And according to International Labour Organization, abbreviators ILO, a woman in Africa spend more than 3.4 time on unpaid care than men, with most unpaid caregivers being aged between 15 to 54. And these women also face economic challenges, and that is where also really we feel we need to talk to you about, because really how do we make sure that we share responsibility equally. If a man is to wash clothes, then a man should wash intentions. Don't you think that would be nice? But really, what is society going to be saying? Aren't we going to be seeing cases like that this man has been put in a bottle, this woman is treating this man with witchcraft? These are allegations most often we see about men who often also really love supporting their women with domestic chores. But really, is it right for men to now support women with domestic work? You can be able to share your thoughts and your opinions with us. Or else, are we going to be seeing men fetch water? Because else we are seeing this happening. But in our culture of the Logbara, there are certain works that have been left for women, but there are works that used to be for men. Today you move in the villages, they are also only being left for women alone. Look at what is digging. Today you hardly find men into gardens. You find it is women who are doing that. But really, why don't we then call for equal sharing of responsibility, more so when it comes to household chores? This is where I feel I need to also really engage you on, and at the end of the day, I really feel there's not more that we need to do towards that, because if at all we not do about that, then definitely we are going to be still seeing many people solely still facing that challenge in there. Mr. Odokorat Santi Francis, the SHID Country Director for Oxfam in Uganda, stated that sharing domestic work strengthens family bonds, and that is where it becomes very much important for you as a man watching us right now. This morning, start by washing utensils that maybe were yesterday in there, or else we want to see you tomorrow morning washing clothes for both yourself and your wife plus your children, and that would be nice. And that is already how we are going to be sharing the household chores in that. Mr. Dokolatos pointed out that if women are overwhelmed with domestic work duties, they are less also able to participate in political and economic activities. And yes, this is a reality today. We have seen many women being pushed out of political ambitions, and simply because they are engaged in what we call household chores, and most of them hardly find time for also really pursue their opportunities, and these opportunities also really, which are also really at the disposal of the women in there. But how do we make sure that there is equal sharing of opportunities, and how can we make sure that people actually get to benefit in all? And that's where I really feel where now bodies like Oxfam must come out and also really support what we call these women and men in also advocating for equal sharing of responsibility. And to me, that would be quite well, because at the end of the day, we want people to share responsibility equally. Mr. Robert Muchibi, a bodaboda rider in Namongo, said that according to his culture, domestic work is done by women, and man's role is to look for money and also take home for the children in there. And that is how also we are all looking at this whole scenario. And he noted that even if his wife works, it is still the responsibility to take care of the home, much as even you are seeing a woman in the home is more than the man. Even if the man is not working, still the society puts the men at the advantage of women in there. And that is why we are going to be taking yet another short commercial break, and I really feel we are going to be bouncing back still, and I will be checking through your comments in there onto the same matter, which I will be going through later. For now, let's take this short commercial break, and we bounce back shortly.